Jai Gaur Premanand.
वासुदेवाय
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishram Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutam Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajanam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Savaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Sahagana Lalita Sri Shakhanvitamsya. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhur Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sude Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vansha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktavrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hearty welcome to all the devotees for our 2-session seminar, Lessons from Ramayana. And I say that 2 sessions is just, if we just take the word Ramayana, it will take more than 2 sessions. Forget about the entire Ramayana. So, with the mercy of Lord Ram, however much we can learn in these 2 sessions, we will try to cover. What I thought is to not go into the details of the pastime, since most of us, we know the details of the storyline of Ramayana. So over here we'll try to learn lessons from the different episodes as the story progresses in Srimad Ramayana. And the lessons are so many. Even if you just take one episode, like Ram Bharat Milap or Ramchandra Vanvas, if you just take one episode, there are so many lessons from just one episode that our acharyas have mentioned that it will take lifetimes, not just few sessions, not just few years, but lifetimes to understand these lessons. It is mentioned in the Ramayana itself, Ramayana Shat Koti Apara. That how many commentaries are there on Ramayana, do you know? 100 crore commentaries. 100 crore commentaries just on the different aspects of this epic. How many verses in Ramayana? Who knows? Okay, Bhagavatam has how many verses? 18,000 verses in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Ramayana has 24,000 verses. Mahabharata has 1 lakh. For us, even Bhagavad Gita is too much, which is only 700. Why I say only 700? Because compared to Bhagavatam, compared to Ramayana, compared to Mahabharata, Bhagavad Gita is only 700 verses. Now to begin with, in the Ramayana itself, it is mentioned that what is the benefit of hearing Ram Katha. That we should know. What is the benefit of hearing Ram Katha and how we should hear Ram Katha. So the beginning of Ramayana, this verse says, Tavat papani dehesmin nivasanti tapodhana yavat shruyate samyak Srimad Ramayanam narai. Tavat papani dehesmin. In this age of Kali Yuga, especially, our material bodies are made up of what? Papa. It is mentioned in this verse, our material bodies are made up of sins. Tavat papani dehesmin. But if one very meticulously hears the Srimad Ramayana, Samyak Shruyate. Shruyate means to hear. Samyak means to hear it very attentively, meticulously. So if one hears very attentively, then one can be freed from all the sins of which this material body is made up of. Now, herein, it is not just Shruyate, it is not just this word used hearing, but Samyak Shruyate. That is very important. And our acharyas like Valmiki Muni and others, they have commented on this word Samyak. Samyak means completely. Samyak means in a very pure manner. Samyak means very attentively. So hearing has to be done very attentively first. The example is given of Maharaj Kulashekar from the Sri Sampradaya. Also we have Srila Prabhupada wrote the book Mukunda Mala Stotra. So, they are the prayers which were offered by Maharaj Kulashekar, who was a Rajarishi of his time, a king, but not just a king, but a Rajarishi. He was a saintly king. So very interesting that how Maharaj Kulashekar would hear every day Ram Katha. This is something to learn from Maharaj Kulashekar. Now, there was a person appointed who would every day speak from Ramayana. Before he would begin his kingly duties, this person would every day narrate the pastimes of Lord Ram to Maharaj Kulashekar and the entire assembly of Maharaj Kulashekar. So one day, as this speaker, he was speaking from Ramayana. He spoke about Sita Haran. How Ravan comes and he kidnaps Mother Sita. And he is taking Mother Sita away to Lanka. And Jatayu is now almost dying as he fought against Ravan to somehow protect Sita. Now when Maharaj Kulashekar hears this episode from the Ramayana, he gets involved into that pastime so much that he gets up from his throne and he calls for his entire army. Now the king has called for the entire army, the commander-in-chief and the entire army, so they have to come. And then he orders, immediately follow behind me. Let's go to Nasik Panchvati. Why? Because Ravan has just kidnapped Sita from there and is on his way to Lanka. We have to stop him, kill that rascal. Now, how many times do we hear Ramayana like that? How many times have we heard Mother Sita being kidnapped, and how many times do we even get into our car to do something? Now for us, this might appear to be craziness. And what is this? What kind of hearing is this? But herein we have to understand that great acharyas like Maharaj Kulashekar would actually, they would go into the pastime and enter into that pastime through the narrations, through the epic Ramayana. They would enter into that pastime. But now, you see what happened was that, the other ministers, they realized that if our king will continue hearing Ramayana with such intensity, then we have to pay heavy price. So then what they did, they somehow had someone also narrate that what happened, that how Sita was brought back, Hanumanji went to Lanka, and then that particular episode was narrated immediately, and Maharaj Kulashekar was pacified. So now they had a meeting. The ministers, they had a meeting and they decided that okay, Maharaj Kulashekar every day wants that Ramayana should be narrated to him, but we'll make sure that only those episodes from Ramayana should be narrated wherein they are not very provocative. They don't agitate our king. So they told to this Kathaka, to the speaker, that you only choose pastimes which are like, having happy ending and pleasing and not very provocative, not very agitative to our king. So he started doing that. One day it so happened that this person, he fell sick, so he sent his son. And he forgot to tell him that you are not supposed to pick up those episodes from Ramayana which might provoke our king to get into that mood. So the son was not told by the speaker, and the son, guess what? He picked up the fight between Ram and Ravan. That episode. Now, with eyes closed, Maharaj Kulashekar is hearing this episode. At one point of time, again, he calls for his entire army. Lord Ram is alone fighting with Ravan. And this Ravan is not getting killed. We have to help our Lord. Follow behind. The entire army now had to follow behind. And he was, because he was from South India, so it was closer, Lanka is closer. So he had reached the shores of the ocean. And he was now in fact, he had entered into the ocean, and the army was standing on the shores, wondering what should we do now? And he had entered into the ocean. Maharaj Kulashekar had entered, expecting that the army also will follow behind. He was still in that, ecstasy of helping Lord Ram fight Ravan. And at one point of time, when he had entered so deep inside the ocean that he was about to be just, carried away by the ocean, a hand from behind stopped Maharaj Kulashekar. And he looked back, and guess who was it? It was none other than Lord Ram himself, come again in this age of Kali Yuga, for Maharaj Kulashekar, and told Maharaj Kulashekar, he held him and he said, that the quality of hearing which you have been doing about my pastimes, I assure you personally that what to speak of this ocean, I will personally carry you across the ocean of birth and death. I give you complete assurance. And the assurance was given by personally Lord Ram himself to Maharaj Kulashekar. So that was the kind of samyak shruyate which Maharaj Kulashekar would do as far as Ram Katha is concerned. Then we have the beginning of Ramayana. How it begins, who knows? Love Kush, the two sons of Lord Ram, coming to Ayodhya and narrating the pastimes of Lord Ram. And it was Bharat who heard. And they were just roaming around, singing the glories from Ramayana, chanting the shlokas from Ramayana. And Bharat heard that and sounded so sweet. And they were so eloquent, Love and Kush. Bharat went and told Lord Ram that we have to arrange Ram Katha. So, the first Ram Katha was arranged in Ayodhya, and the speakers were Love and Kush. And who was the audience? The entire Ayodhya Nagari was the audience. And like the tradition is that when the speaker is speaking, everyone has to face the speaker. So everyone was facing the speaker, and Lord Ram was seated on his throne. So everyone was actually showing their back to Lord Ram. And it is explained by our acharyas that it was no offense. Generally it is an offense that the deity of the Lord should be shown one's back. But there was no offense because they were actually facing Lord Ram in the form of Ram's Katha. Because there is no difference between Lord Ram and Ram's Katha. So Lord Ram was seated on the throne, and Love and Kush were, just like if you have the altar of Lord Ram over here and Prabhupada over there, where Love and Kush were speaking Ram Katha. So everyone was facing Love and Kush. So they were showing their back to Lord Ram. Lord Ram was seated on the throne. And Lord Ram, as he was hearing his own pastimes from Ramayana, but it was narrated with so much eloquence and sweetness, that Lord Ram, he got down from his throne. He got down from his throne and he started to walk towards Love and Kush. And even he didn't realize, according to the rule, when the king gets up, everyone has to get up. But nobody realized that Lord Ram had got up from his throne, because everyone was totally engrossed in hearing Ram Katha. And Lord Ram, he sat along with all the other Ayodhya Vasis on the floor. The king, Ayodhya Pati, he sat along with everyone on the floor. And one point of time, there was one Ayodhya Vasi who was seated next to Lord Ram, didn't even realize that Lord Ram is sitting next to him. Imagine, if Ram Katha is going on, Lord Ram is sitting next to us. He didn't even realize, he was so much engrossed. And when that episode came where Surpanaka, her nose was cut off by Lakshman, so he laughed. He laughed at that. This Ayodhyavasi, he laughed at that. And he just smacked Lord Ram. Did you hear that? And Lord Ram, yeah. In fact, I was there. So, that was, to the extent everyone was engrossed. The first Ram Katha, which Love and Kush were narrating. So herein, when Ramayana mentions Tavat Papani Dehesmin, these material bodies which we have got, which is made up of our sins from so many lifetimes, we can get rid of all of these sins if Samyak Shruyate, when we listen to Ram Katha very attentively. We have Hanumanji's example. We spoke about Hanumanji the other day. That Hanumanji, when he was offered to come to the spiritual world, Vaikuntha, along with Ayodhyavasis and Lord Ram, Hanumanji said, no, I want to remain in this material world. Why? Because I want to hear Ram Katha. In this material world, after you have gone, my dear Lord Ram, you have left your dham, you have left your katha. And for ages now, your katha will be spoken and heard. And wherever your katha will be spoken and heard, Hanumanji said, I want to be present over there and hear. For the rest of my life, for eternity, he said, I want to just hear Ram Katha. This is the only one benediction I ask from you. I don't want to go to the spiritual world. For me, my spiritual world is Ram Katha. And here is the greatest devotee of Lord Ram, Hanumanji. The benediction he is asking. And I want to just hear Ram Katha. Not that I want to speak Ram Katha. Many times we feel that, okay, I really will appreciate Ram Katha if I get to speak. Now here was Hanumanji, who was part of Lord Ram's pastimes. But the benediction he is asking, I want to hear. I want to listen. So this is the first lesson which we learn from the beginning of Ramayana. That what is the effect, what is the benefit of hearing Ram Katha, and how it has to be done. It has to be done very, very attentively. Unfortunately, in this age of Kali Yuga, for us it is our vyatha, because of which we can't hear Ram Katha. हमारी व्यथा की वजह से राम कथा में रस नहीं आता, क्योंकि काम कथा में हम इतने संलग्न रहते हैं. There is a thing called subhashit in Sanskrit language, which speaks about certain episodes from scriptures in a very poetic manner, sometimes having humor in it. So there's one subhashit from the Niti Shastra. It explains about the listeners of this age of Kali Yuga. And this verse says, Nidra hate preyasi kumbhakarne vaidhavya diksham vyathite tathakim. Very interesting Sanskrit verse, Subhashit. It says that when in Treta Yuga Lord Ram killed Kumbhakarna, all of you are aware of this personality? Kumbhakarna, what was he famous for?
Sleeping.
Sleeping. How long?
6 months.
6 months at a stretch. Anyone? Has that stamina? He could sleep 6 months at a stretch. Kumbhakarna. So Kumbhakarna, when he was killed, then people came to know that one of the dearmost wives of Kumbhakarna was Nidra Devi. Who is Nidra Devi? She is the goddess of sleep. So Kumbhakarna had married goddess of sleep. What a combination. So when Kumbhakarna was killed, what happened to Nidra Devi? She became a widow. Is it not? So it is mentioned, Nidra Hate Preyasi. She was the Preyasi of, Nidra was the Preyasi of Kumbhakarna. She was the consort of Kumbhakarna. But when she was killed, Vaidavya, she became Vidva. She became widow. And now she was looking for another husband. She was looking for another husband. So she happened to see some people who were doing some gossip and prajalpa. And she thought that some men will be interested in me over here. But these people who are doing gossip and prajalpa, they threw her out. There is no place for you. So, it meant that wherever there is gossip and prajalpa, people don't sleep. But then she found that one Hare Krishna temple here in Manchester, people are sitting and listening to some Ram Katha. So she came. And then everyone welcomed her with 3 Haribols. So she was welcomed. So it is mentioned, it was on the lighter side, that wherever Katha goes on, the Nidra Devi is welcomed so much. Everyone wants to marry the Nidra Devi. So that is the state of affairs of Kali Yuga. But still, we have to know the first lesson which Ramayana teaches is that what should be the quality of hearing. Now, we know that Dasharath Maharaj, as we go further into the storyline of Ramayana, Maharaj Dasharath, he had everything. You know why he got that name Dasharath? Because alone he could fight with 10 Maharathis. Therefore he got that name Dasharath. And he could destroy them single-handedly. Maharathis. 10 of them simultaneously. So Maharaj Dasharath, he was like the most accomplished king of his time. And his Nagari was called Ayodhya. Dasharath was the king of Ayodhya. What is the meaning of Ayodhya? This name, which is Nagari got. Ayodhya, which means there was no enemy who could destroy or who could win over Ayodhya Nagari. So it was, in one sense, you can say that it was invincible. Ayodhya Nagari was invincible. And here was because of Dasharath, it was like that. So Dasharath had everything. Whatever. He had the best of queens, he had treasury, he had the best of armies, commanders. He himself was so beautiful, powerful, knowledgeable, coming in from the Raghu dynasty. Everything was just perfect. But he didn't have a son. So the second lesson which we learn from this particular aspect of Ramayana is that you may have everything perfect going on in your life. Just like Maharaj Dasharatha. You may have everything perfect going on in your life. Material world is always with a big but. How many times have we found, oh, my job is perfect, my family is perfect? Seldom we hear all that nowadays. My house is just, the kind of house I always wanted. I have, the neighbors are, just the best neighbors and everything. And then towards the end, there will be always, but. But my mother-in-law. If you ask a mother-in-law, everything is perfect, but my daughter-in-law. So always, the big but comes. Like one teacher, she asked the students that why did Sita go to forest along with Lord Ram when only Lord Ram was exiled into the forest? Kaikeyi, she wanted only Lord Ram to go to the forest. Why Sita? She didn't say that Sita also has to go or Lakshman also has to go. So the question was asked by the teacher that why did Sita follow? So one girl, she replied, well, if you are just married, Sita was just married. If you are just married and if you have 3 mother-in-laws at home, you better go to forest. So there was Kaushalya, there was Kaikeyi, and there was Sumitra. So always there is this but, whether some neighbors or some relatives or the government or the job or anyone. Like one person back in Bombay, some years ago, he was discussing with one of our brahmacharis. And he had moved to a place in Bombay called Mira Road. And he got a job also in Mira Road. In Bombay, if you don't have to commute in those local trains for your job every day, if you don't have to do that, which means your job is just some walking distance or wherever you live, that particular vicinity, then you have done tremendous amount of pious activities. You don't have to take those local trains in Bombay. Those of you who must have experienced or known about it can understand. So this person, he was living in Mira Road. He had a job in this place, Mira Road. So he was speaking to this one brahmachari and he was saying, Prabhuji, everything is perfect. My job, 5 minutes walking distance. Market, 10 minutes walking distance. Children, their school, 7 minutes walking distance. Everything is so good. And Prabhuji was wondering, how can everything be perfect? Where is the but coming? He was waiting for the but. So he was going on and on, like, how everything is perfect, how everything is perfect. And then finally, he said, but. And Prabhuji, yes. Go on, what is it? But Prabhuji, mosquitoes. The mosquitoes in Mira Road. उन्होंने दहशत मचा रखी है हमारे लिए. So this is material world. Always there is, the but coming. Like we had this story of the stone cutter. There was this stone cutter and every day he would go to one mountain to cut stones and then bring those cut stones and sell in the town. So every day he would do that. And he had to toil hard, sweat hard, slog hard to cut stones every day bring them and sell them. So one day, as he was cutting stones, he saw the king was going on a palanquin. And everyone was glorifying the king. And as he was cutting the stones, he was looking at this king. And he was dreaming, what if I was also like this king? I didn't have to cut these stones. Wish I was like this king. And lo and behold, he became the king. Some magic happened and he became the king. Now he was on the palanquin and people were glorifying him, and he was looking, my God, what has happened to me? Where is my hammer? And where is my profession as a stone cutter? Where is that stone cutter gone? And he was the king now. Everyone was glorifying. He was on the palanquin. So wow, this magic, I just wished, I just dreamt of it, and now here I am, the king, on the palanquin. And so happened that after a while, he looked up. The sun was just scorching so hot on him. And then he started to think, well, I thought the king is the supreme most, but here this sun is so hot on me. So I feel that the sun is superior to me. How I wish I would be the sun. Lo and behold, what happened? Became the sun. Now, wow. Now I'm the sun, I'm on top of everyone. Look, he was looking at everyone. It was not UK. It was India, you saw. Everyone was hiding away from him. So everyone was hiding away underneath some tree or looking for some shade. And he was feeling so great about himself. Just see how people are running away from me. But then, what happened after a while? A cloud came. And a cloud covered this sun. And this person as sun now, he was trying to chase away the clouds or come out of the clouds, but the clouds were so thick and so many. Like here. That the sun was completely hidden. Behind these clouds. And then my God, I thought that I am the most powerful, but here in these clouds seem to even overpower me. How I wish I would become these clouds. So he became the clouds. And now he was always covering the sun, the moon, showing, yes, see my presence. But then what happened? Wind started blowing. And blew these clouds away. And these clouds were the wind started blowing so fiercely that these, clouds were like smithereens, pieces. And then his wish was, how I wish I would become the wind. So then what happened? He was blowing away everyone. All the clouds, everyone, trees were uprooted by him. Except for this mountain. The mountain was unshakable. And then he desired, how I wish I would become this mountain. So he became the mountain. And now he was standing like a rock. Yes, who can move me? Who can shake me? And then another stone cutter came. Another stone cutter came with a huge hammer and started to break this mountain. And then he said, how I wish I become the stone cutter. So he became the stone cutter again. So this is the story we see in this material world. We find that people, they work so hard to get money, to get opulence, to get all the amenities, to get all the luxuries. Back in India, interact with some of these celebrities there in Bombay. And I find that these celebrities, they have so much money, they have so much opulence, so much fame. But you know what they eat every day? Some microbiotic diet. No sugar, no salt, no oil, nothing to maintain their figure. तो मैं बोलता हूँ कि ये तो बंदरों में खाना है. Monkeys, they are on that kind of organic diet. So all of that money they have, and then again they live like, just on some organic food. And over there, if somebody is on some organic diet, then yes, you are supposed to be a celebrity, because only they can afford. Organic fruits, organic vegetables, they are more costlier, double the price than the inorganic ones. So again, the cycle is coming back. You see, over there I find that people, they go to these gymnasiums to work out. In Bombay, there is one famous gold gym, very famous. And this gold gym, all the elite class of Bombay, it's like the poshest area of Bombay, this gym is. So the elite class of South Bombay goes over there in their Mercedes, in their BMW, and they park these celebrated cars, and they go inside and they bicycle. तो मर्सिडीज में आते हैं, अंदर जाके साइकिल चलाते हैं, और वो भी कौन सी साइकिल, आगे भी नहीं जाती वो. It doesn't even go ahead. वो चाकू चोरी धार करने वाली साइकिल बस, something like that. So this is again coming back to the lesson, that is, material world is designed in such a way, somehow or the other there will be this but coming. Always. Like we have the story of Maharaj Chitraketu in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Same, Maharaj Chitraketu, do you know, he had 1 crore wives. He was really crorepati. Pati of 1 crore. Sometimes, when first time I heard that, I was wondering if Maharaj Chitraketu would want to have a family photograph. Somebody had to go on a plane. It was like, how do you remember names? That's very important for a husband. To remember names. How would you remember names? You must have had a huge database. So, Maharaj Chitraketu having 1 crore wives, no son. And then we know the story that Angira Muni, he came and he blessed, Maharaj Chitraketu. Like even in lectures, everything is going on nice, but the cell phone rings. But the kid comes. So always the but is there. So Maharaj Chitraketu, Harsha Shoka, he got the son who was named Harsha Shoka. It's very symbolic that the name of the son of Maharaj Chitraketu was Harsha Shoka. Harsha means that this son will give you happiness, and Shoka means along with happiness, this son will also be the cause of your lamentation, Shoka. So Prabhupada, in many of his lectures, he coined this term, Harsha Shoka. In his language, he said, it is like mixing sand in sweet rice. How many of you have heard that? Prabhupada had coined this phrase. Sand with sweet rice. Now we all love sweet rice. All of you? But imagine if somebody puts sand and mixes, it might look like chocolate flavor, brown sand in sweet rice. But what will be your experience when you start having that sweet rice mixed with sand? What will be your experience? Tell me. Honestly. Huh? Crunchy. Will it be crunchy in a good sense?
Gritty, breaking.
Huh?
Gritty.
See, you will experience the sweetness, yes, to some extent. But that sand always coming in between. It's like, the modern day example if I would give, to enjoy a chocolate with the wrapper on. Okay, that sounds good? Chocolate with the wrapper on. What will be your experience now? So, Prabhupada said, Harsha Shoka means sweet rice mixed with sand. So, Prabhupada said that this Harsha Shoka is nothing but this material world is filled with good news and bad news. You find in one family somebody's funeral, and also the same family, sometimes on the same day, someone has taken birth or someone is getting married. So always there is good news and bad news. And it's like two sides of the same coin. Good news and bad news. Like one patient in a hospital, the doctor said, after diagnosing, he said, there is good news and there is bad news. Which one do you want to listen first? He said, okay, first start with the bad news. At least towards the end, I'll have some sweet, some good news to, savor, to linger upon. So he said, well, the bad news is that you have AIDS. Then what is left? What is good news? The good news is you have Alzheimer's also. That soon you will forget that you have AIDS. So is it really good news? That is the material world. Good news, bad news. It's like the difference between dry stool and wet stool. They both are abominable. The pigs might, fight over it, that which is better. But for us, it's all filth. So therefore, Harsha Shoka, when we talk of Harsha and Shoka, this is what this material world is made of. So Maharaj Dasharath, we learn from the second lesson that Maharaj Dasharath, he had everything practically at his beck and call. But he didn't have a son. And therefore he was miserable. So Ramayana uses even Lord Ram's father to set an example that what is this material made up of? What material world made up of? We should know that. Then, what did Maharaj Dasharath do? He performed the Putra Kameshti Yajna. So in performance of Putra Kameshti Yajna, of course, he was qualified to have Lord Ram as his son, but still he was told by Rishashringa, that great sage, that you perform Putra Kameshti Yajna. So the third lesson which we learn from here, from Maharaj Dasharath's example, is that even if one is supposed to become the father of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he still has to perform prescribed duties of this yajna which he had to perform. Like Arjun, although Krishna was driving the chariot of Arjun, and Arjun in the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita was not wanting to perform his prescribed duty as a Kshatriya, as a warrior. He wanted to give up. But Lord Sri Krishna told, yes, I am your chariot driver, I am your charioteer, but I will not fight the war. The war you have to fight. The prescribed duties you have to perform as a Kshatriya. Because it's your sole responsibility. In fact, yes, I'm going to establish Dharma, but through you. You are going to become the instrument. So the entire Bhagavad Gita is nothing but convincing Arjuna to perform his prescribed duties. Now, when we talk of prescribed duties, like in ISKCON we follow the 4 regulative principles, we chant our 16 rounds, so we have our prescribed duties which we perform. And many times, is everything okay?
Children's event.
Okay. Everything okay? No
So
problem?
jumping around.
So, we are talking of rules. Now, you see, many people, when they hear about rules, they get put off. That, why, in order to achieve, godhood, one has to follow any rules. And, Srila Prabhupada said actually, that if we just take out the 4 regulative principles, then tons and tons of people you will get as followers in the Hare Krishna movement. So why, out of so many, only few handful they come, for the programs. They, come for the programs, and only few handful of them, amongst those handful, only few of them, they actually commit or dedicate themselves. Why? Because of the rules. Now the question is, are rules good for us or are they bad for us? What do you say? Does it help us or does it limit us or take us away from the goal of loving Krishna? Okay, if the goal is to love Krishna, why rules? Why conditions? What do you say?
In the material world.
Because we are in the material world. So can you elaborate on that? Yeah, you are on the right track.
Cleaning process.
Too many distractions and desires that will take us away from that goal.
Okay.
So we need to be focused.
Focused. Very well said. Like, this beautiful painting out here. You have this frame. And I would say rules, they are like the photo frame. So what this photo frame is doing, what is the purpose of this frame?
It's a board.
It supports, okay. It protects the painting.
Yes.
It's like protecting the painting. What else?
Beautifies it.
Yeah, beautifies it. 2 things. So you look at the photo frame, 2 things the photo frame is doing. It is protecting and it is enhancing the beauty of that painting. That's what rules they do when properly followed. They protect us from the distractions, as you said, and also they enhance our practice of Krishna consciousness. Therefore, in the Bhagavad Gita, Srila Prabhupada uses, in fact, Krishna, it's the exact English translation Prabhupada says of the Sanskrit of Krishna. Regulative principles of freedom. How many of you have read that in the Gita? Prabhupada uses that. Regulative principles of freedom. So it appears like, there is a paradox in this. That there is regulative principles, but how come freedom in that? How do you understand this phrase used by Prabhupada? Regulative principles of freedom. Just like you have the traffic lights. Does it regulate your driving? Okay, it does. It regulates your driving. Along with that, does it also allows you to freely drive when there is green for you, is it not? You know, if it's green for you, it's red for the other guy. So you can freely drive. Imagine if there were no traffic lights. Okay, now freely everyone can drive. What would happen? It would be scary to drive then if no traffic lights. So it appears that the traffic lights are regulating, but that's what Prabhupada meant. Regulative principles of freedom, someone is calling me. I'm coming from India. Even over here, the game of cricket is very famous.
No.
Which is football. But you all know cricket?
Yeah.
Not that insect, but the game, cricket. Now in India, people are crazy about this game, cricket. In our childhood, we used to play so much. And I remember that any game for that matter, we are taking this game, cricket, that unless everyone follows the rules strictly, there is no fun in that game. Like every game has its set rules. So if you take cricket, there are rules. If you don't follow those rules, then there is no fun in playing that game. Imagine if, the bowler, he bowls and the batsman is like clean bowled. And the batsman says, I don't agree. Kar le jo karna hai. I don't agree. And the bowler, he has to bowl like 1 over has 6 balls, so he has to bowl 6 times. But then he says, no, I feel like bowling more. Acha lag raha hai, form hai, and feel like bowling more. No, you have to now give to someone else. So there are set rules. You can't just, break those rules. The more strictly the players they follow the rules, the more the fun is in the game. Is it not? Do you all agree? In football also.
Yeah.
If one says, okay, no, I don't agree that you have to hit with the foot only. No, I make my rules, From today onwards, it's, I'll just carry the ball in my armpit and just throw it in the goal post. That's my rule from today onwards. So there is no fun in that. So herein, when we are talking of Maharaj Dashrath following the prescribed duties, it was done out of love to have Lord Ram as his son. So prescribed duties to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead, to have the Supreme Personality of Godhead in your life. When you are doing that in that mood, then those rules and regulations, they actually help us walk on the path of our emancipation, our freedom, our moksha. So this is the third lesson which we learn. The fourth lesson, and this will be the last for today. The fourth lesson is when he performed that Putra Kameshti Yajna. So a personality emerged from the Yajna. A very divine personality appeared. And he brought a pot of sweet rice. Told to Maharaj Dashrath to divide it amongst how many queens? 3. Kaushalya, Kaikeyi and Sumitra. So he asked Maharaj Dashrath to divide it amongst the 3. Now it's very interesting that how it was divided. So the first portion was given to Kaushalya. She was the senior most. And the second portion from that, pot of sweet rice was given to Kaikeyi. And from each of these portions, Maharaj Dashrath, he took a little portion and gave now 2 portions to Sumitra. So Kaushalya, she begot Lord Ram. And the Shesha, which was the leftover from Kaushalya, which was given to Sumitra, Sumitra begot from that portion Lakshman. And the leftover, the Sesha from Kaikeyi, which was the second portion given to Sumitra. Sumitra begot another son, Shatrughna. So our acharyas explain that it's very interesting that Sumitra, she had the sweet rice in the consciousness that I want to beget two servants of Ram and Bharat. So Ram was born from Kaushalya, Bharat was born from Kaikeyi, and Sumitra begot Lakshman and Shatrughna. So Lakshman became the servant of Lord Ram, and also he is called Sesha. He is the expansion of Ananta Shesha. So the Sesha herein also is very nicely used by our acharyas, that the Sesha part of sweet rice was given to Sumitra from Kaushalyas and also from Kaikeyi. So because she had her portion of sweet rice, who Sumitra had her portion of sweet rice in the consciousness that I want to have sons who will be servants of Ram and Bharat. So we see in the whole of Ramayana, Shatrughna, he in fact always served Bharat. Although he was brother of Lord Ram, but he never demanded that why only Lakshman? Why not me? Sometimes in devotee circle it happens. Why only that devotee has to be given that service all the time? Why not me? Here in Shatrughna is teaching that he was born to serve Bharat, and Lakshman, he was born to serve Lord Ram. So the lesson over here which we learn from Sumitra's example, very seldom do we focus on Sumitra. Yes, we hear about Kaushalya, so much we hear about Kaikeyi, but seldom do we hear about Sumitra, that what was her sacrifice, what was her mood. This is called the true Sankirtan mood. What is the meaning of Sankirtan? Samyak Kirtan. Kirtan means to glorify the Supreme Lord. Bhagwan ki kirti ka gaan karna. And Samyak Kirtan means when we come together and glorify. So Kirtan doesn't just mean, yes, with mridang and kartal and chanting Hare Krishna. Definitely, there is Sankirtan, that is called also Sankirtan. But when we together harmoniously please the Supreme Lord in the mood of being the servant of the servant, that is Sankirtan. So Sankirtan is not just sitting in the temple hall doing Kirtan with mridang and kartal. How we deal with our God brothers, how we deal with our God sisters, how we deal with our fellow Vaishnavas in association, in the mood of Sumitra, how Sumitra dealt with Kaushalya, with Kaikeyi. She was not demanding. She was not telling Dashrath that why you are giving me the leftovers of Kaushalya and Kaikeyi. Why not me? The main portion of the sweet rice. No, her mood was servant of the servant. So herein we learn the lesson which is very important, that what is true Sankirtan mood. We learn from Sumitra. You see, many times we find that when someone is given some responsibility, especially in this Hare Krishna movement, we see that because we have the preaching mission, and for preaching we need organization. For preaching we need an institution. For preaching we need skills. For preaching we need some competence. So the trap in this is that many times we mistake skills and competence towards spiritual advancement. We think that the more skills I acquire, the more competent I become, the more positions I get, designations I get, the more spiritually advanced I'll be considered in the devotee community. No. That is not the truth. Because along with skills, along with competence, we require character. So to preach the message of Lord Ram, message of Bhagavad Gita, message of Ramayana, we need character and also competence. So here was the combination. We have Sumitra who was ready to sacrifice and forego any kind of position if it was helping the mission of the Lord. And therefore, on the way, some devotees were asking this question, that, in the spiritual world, are there gradations? And the question was asked that, is there discrimination in the spiritual world? That someone is better than the other one? No. That we find only in the material world, in material consciousness, that someone is better than the other person. But in the spiritual world, there is nothing called someone is better than the other. In spiritual world, there is variety, definitely. And for Krishna, for him, even a blade of grass in Vrindavan is as important as Srimati Radharani, who is, his eternal consort. Because they both are giving pleasure to Krishna in their own way, in their full capacity. So that is the mood of Golok Vrindavan. The mood of Golok Vrindavan is that if I am supposed to please Krishna as a blade of grass, that is the perfection of my life. And if somebody wants to take the position of Radharani or Mother Yashoda, thinking that, I'll be more seen or more talked about if I, get that position, Prabhupada said that is Mayavad, another kind of. So this mood of servant of the servant of the servant. And therefore, we have to understand that when we are trying to spread the mission of Srila Prabhupada, we have to understand what is my competence, what is my role to play, and when we play that role efficiently, just like, in our childhood, I still remember we had this one way of welcoming for our annual day, school annual day, welcoming, the honor, the guest of honor, the main guest who was invited. So the children were told, that they were having the alphabets of this word welcome. And they were told that you have to go and just stand. And we were given our spots. So, okay, E has to stand next to W. And we know the spelling of welcome. Now we didn't know that what is the significance of, I am having the alphabet E on my chest. So I was not knowing what is the significance of that E. But the significance was seen by others when I was standing next to W and L, in between W and L. And everyone was clapping. What a sweet expression. And we were wondering why. Just came and stood. Why they are clapping? We didn't do anything. So what do we learn from here? That we were told, you have the alphabet E. What you have to do, don't mess around. Just stand in between W and L. Just do that. And by doing that, you will become part of the complete word called welcome. So you can't take the credit for yourself that you were the only one who welcomed and made everyone clap. No, everyone together. That's called Sankirtan. Are you getting it? That's called Sankirtan. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has also told all of us, okay, this is your alphabet. Where is your place? Manchester. Stand here. If we monkey around here and there, then we'll mess around. Okay. So that is called prescribed duty. That is called playing our role in the Sankirtan movement. Like I was in the armed forces over there, we were taught that even a huge aircraft, with all of its different complicated technicalities, even one screw was not proper in its place, could create a snag in the aircraft and eventually make the aircraft crash. One screw, you may call it a silly screw, if not in its proper place, not properly tightened, would create a plane crash, could create a snag. So yes, it's not that the screw is making the plane fly, but yes, to some extent the screw is very much instrumental, as they say. So we have to understand, we have to locate our roles in this Sankirtan mission. Like, when our training was going on, a very, very inspiring incident was, spoken by our commander, who was, later on he became our firing officer. He was, the chief commander for our training. And he was saying that one of the wars, India was fighting against Pakistan. And in army there was this one Major Shekhawat. And now he was getting ready. He was getting ready to go to the front line to fight against the Pakistani army. And his mother joined. And now he was like, why you are coming along? And she said, yes, I am not a soldier. I am not recruited formally into the army, but I am your mother. And I want to play my role over there. I want to come and I want to cook for you soldiers over there. I can't kill any enemy soldier. I don't know how to shoot. I don't know how to fight. But I know one thing which I'm good at. I can cook. So she came along with her son, the front line. And she was cooking for the soldiers. And she said that why I'm cooking for all of you? Because by eating this food, you should come to know that this food, although cooked by me, your mother, but it is grown by your motherland. So there are two mothers involved. To have your food, to get strength and destroy the enemy. And when he said that story, it was very inspiring. That although a mother, she is also participating equally in the war, inspiring the soldiers to fight the war and win over the enemy. Yeah, and that's what we are talking about. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is wanting our participation. He is not expecting that everyone will pick up the rifle and shoot like everyone else. No, even if we are like that humble mother who is only in the background cooking for the other soldiers, but inspiring them so much. And another story was so much inspiring which he told us. It was from our freedom struggle, the Indian independence freedom struggle. This was Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. All of you know. So he started the Indian National Army. So when he was recruiting people for INA, the National Army, there was one person was crippled. He was not able to walk properly. He was crippled. He said, I want to join. And when Netaji Bose, when he saw him, when he heard his enthusiasm, he said, okay, I can understand your enthusiasm, but in what way will you contribute in the war? And the answer which this man gave, it actually put us in tears. He said, I don't know how to lift a rifle. I don't know how to shoot a bullet. I don't know any of the combat techniques. But I can do one thing. I'll come in front of the enemy and I'll reduce one bullet from their ammunition. Did you get that? शत्रु सेना से एक गोली में कम करवा सकता हूं by having it on my body. And when we heard that, we were in tears. This is called the spirit of participating. So these are some examples wherein we can learn that when we talk of being together in this moment of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, if someone who is willing to take the bullet from the enemy soldier upon himself and contribute in what way? That okay, I may not be able to shoot a bullet from my side, but at least I'll reduce one bullet from their side by taking it on myself. Then how much more we should be willing to sacrifice and dedicate our lives in the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And how? Not in the mood of taking positions, not in the mood of becoming more and more skillful. Yes, of course, we should do that for the service of the Lord, but not to show off, not to get all the recognition, name, fame just for that sake. Because then we'll be hurting the heart of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who has come to give us what? Na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim, kavitam va jagadishanam. This is the mode of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Amanina manadena kirtanya sadahari. Then only we'll be able to perform that real Sankirtan always. Real Sankirtan is again not just having the bead bag in our hands. Yes, of course, that is chanting of the holy names. But real Sankirtan, as Sumitra, Kaushalya and Kaikeyi together, harmoniously, they divided the sweet rice amongst themselves to have Lord Ram, the servant of Lord Ram, Bharat, and the servant of Bharat. And that's how we see in Ramayana the birth of these four brothers, Ram, Lakshman, Bharat, Shatrughna. These four brothers are born from these mothers who harmoniously, who came together and who divided that sweet rice. And therefore, we learn that in our Sankirtan movement, we have to come together in that mood of harmony, of love, humility, appreciation, and carry on the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Anyone has any question? Any comments? As I said, that Ramayana, the lessons are so many and the lessons are so deep that what to speak of this one lifetime, so many lifetimes will fall short. So we'll go further now. Yes, Ali Prabhu, how are you? Nice to see you after
Same here.
a whole year.
I came to hear nice stories you tell and the way you say it. So my desire was fulfilled.
Okay.
And that will be okay.
And my desire was fulfilled to have your darshan. Thank you. So on Sunday now we'll continue further with some more lessons as we go on. And let's pray and hope that our life just goes on hearing Ram Katha, just like Maharaj Kulashekar would hear It's like Hanumanji, he hears. So like that, let our life just go on hearing Ram Katha, and at the end of this life, or whatever, whichever life, we can achieve the lotus feet of Lord Ram, or Lord Krishna, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and serve over there again in a purified fashion. Jai Shri Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Shikshashtakam Prabhu ki
Jai.